Here we are. What's up, guys? You might recognize this place. We've seen it before. Very nice, defined mind and body wellness. And you know what? Today I figured we're going to do something a little bit different. Look, I don't care where you're at right now. If you're at home, if you're at work, if you're on vacation, doesn't matter. Wherever you are right now, just get up with me really quick. Just a few minutes. Come on. Just get up, stand up. That's it. That's it. All right. We're going to get a little bit of movement. If you're in your house, if you can go outside, go outside. If it's late, walk around your house, walk around the basement, but just get up, get some movement, because that's something that we really have to make sure. There's so much we can't control, right? When it comes to health and things in the world. But one thing we always can control is taking care of our physical body. And we get busy, and especially can be overwhelming. I know so many of you guys have a million things going on, both at home, at work. There's a lot in the world, of course. And so it's easy to neglect it or just not make time. And because the thing about it is, likely, if you feel like you're far away from your goals, if you are walking every single day, you're probably not going to see a significant difference on the scale. And so that can get frustrating. And that can often lead to stopping, because it's like, well, why bother, right? Because it's not easy, as we just said, for you to take time to go do something hard. Because get it, look, it's easy, but it's not, right? Like we said, life is busy, life is hard. So it's no wonder why these cycles happen. But I want to say this is really important, as I try not to get hit by a car, which is, although you don't you and look, some of you guys might be different for, which is, I know, working with so many different women over the years, often I do hear an amazing commitment to walking. It could be, for some women, just parking further away every day at her job, or 10 minutes. Some women, it's 5,000 steps, 10,000 steps, you name it. But some of them, tremendous amount of effort, because I hear it all, right? And then followed by some sort of letdown because they weren't where they wanted to be. But here's the interesting thing. When they were doing all the walking, they would always say they felt a little bit better, but they got frustrated internally because they didn't see any visible change. Yeah, when they stopped walking, what happened? Across the T, almost every scenario, they shifted further and further away from their goals. So I say all of that to say this: while walking, or 5-minute exercises, or whatever little bit of exercise you could ever do, just know it may not get you stage ready, but you better damn sure believe it's doing a lot for you. And the more you do it, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more changes you're going to make. The more changes you make, the better results you're going to see. That is how it works. And to think about it like this too, like, this is a vessel. Like, people use that, and it sounds really cliche and annoying, but it is legitimately. So why would you? I keep turning my camera here. Like, getting a hill up here. This is a good exercise. Gosh darn. Thank you for walking with me, by the way. But anyway, we digress. But the point is just get something in, and it does count. So now that we got you here moving, that's one thing I want you to keep in mind is, like, as you're going through this, now I'm not going to be as present as I might like to be, but you have the opportunity, as you're listening to this, focus on just the nature around you. Start to recognize things you probably drive by every single day and you don't ever take the time to think about. Give yourself that peace. Look, if wearing headphones, listening to this, listening to music, if doing something, if that's going to be the catalyst for you to get moving, by all means, do it. Of course, yes. I'm just suggesting, though, there's something said when we can be in our own head, in our own space, and physically move. It's, you're operating, there's so much going on at that time. When your physiology changes with your emotions, and you're literally, your breath changes with you, your entire being is shifts, right? And so the more we can focus on that stuff, the better. So consistency. So we say small steps, right? First one. Second one is consistency. The third talking point, if you will, which These are just coming off of conversations I have every day, and maybe some reminders I think, think we need to talk about. And so another thing with that is of reminders is carb rotating. And when I say carbs, I'm referring to, sorry, your sun's in your, oh my goodness. Oh, that's kind of a cool shot though. Good lighting, but I don't want the sun to be in your eyes. We'll go this way again. But with carb rotation, the idea of it is that most of us, even myself, I'm in wellness, I've been in fitness 2 decades. For a large part, especially now I'm not coaching classes, I'm sedentary. The definition of sedentary is when you sit more than you stand. So if you work a desk job, I work at home, like you would be likely classified as such as well. So with that said, we've got to make sure that, sorry, I want to step on that. Oops, did I lose you? There we go. All right. Sorry, we're having some the mic is hanging from the phone. And it would be a real hoot if all of this didn't even record, but it wouldn't be the first time. That's all right though. Reminders. Where were we? Carb rotating. So really the idea is that, quite honestly, if you have, I would say, 10 plus pounds to lose and you're not training 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 hours a day and like serious high energy output, you don't need carbohydrates every day. You just don't. There's a lot more for your body to burn off, to work on. Adding more to the equation will just create more inflammation. That said, I'm not saying don't ever have carbs. That doesn't work. So when I refer to carbs, it's traditional carbs, right? I'm saying carb rotate the breads, the oatmeal, the quinoa, the beans. Yes, beans are carbs. Rotate that stuff. And by the way, if you're a vegan, then we'll have a separate conversation because then beans become protein. But for most of us who are not vegan, there's more carbs relative to protein in beans, and therefore they are a carbohydrate more than they are a protein. So that's another thing I think it traps a lot of people, but that's a whole different conversation. In any event, the idea of carb rotating is combining both worlds, giving you the opportunity to have carbs. Now, with that said, I highly recommend stay away from gluten. I understand Friday night, family, bing, blah, boom. I get it. That's fine. But more times than not, stay away from gluten. You can't argue American gluten is not toxic and inflammatory. It just is. And know that the more excess you have around your stomach and the more inflammation you carry, the more susceptible and worse off you will be from things like gluten and most lactose. So you got to be aware of that stuff. Lactose is another thing. I recognize Greek yogurt's healthy. I get it. It's not that is the concern from a caloric standpoint. It's beautiful. The issue I see with most people is that they just don't digest yogurt good. And I know it's supposed to help with digestion. There's prebiotics, probiotics, but there's also lactose. And a lot of times people can't handle that. And it can create inflammation. So anyway, carb rotating is a way to help with the inflammation, but also ensure that like you're having carbs to kind of keep you happy, so to speak, from that perspective. Like, not that carbs make you happy, but like, let's face it, when you cut out carbs altogether, like, yeah, it's fun until it's not. And then then it's just the opposite, right? Like, why put yourself through that? Trust me, as somebody who I've done multiple bodybuilding shows, been in extreme deficits at high energy output. And I learned, the things I'm telling you, I've always told myself and I've told my clients, but it was in that moment I can recall my last prep for Mr. Natural Universe in Florida. My wife was pregnant. My body took a hammer. And I remember thinking about just getting up to go to the bathroom and what else I could do while I was up because I just couldn't get up and down. And I told myself in that moment, never, ever judge yourself or prevent yourself from having something you feel like you need to have. That's not the issue. The issue is the judgment we layer on top of it. So all of that to say, like, yes, aim to carb rotate most of the time. Sometimes you'll have back-to-back days. Sometimes you'll have more than one serving. Who gives a shit? Really? Doesn't matter. What matters is that when that stuff happens, it bleeds into the next day and bleeds into the next day. And then before long, you're far away from where you want to be. And so just allow grace, You want to rotate essentially one serving of traditional carbohydrates every other day. And in doing that, you'll help your body burn off some of the extra, reduce inflammation. It will certainly help around your waistline. So those are the three sort of pecking orders from tonight. Number one, well, first and foremost, you got moving with me, and I appreciate that. And even if you didn't get moving with me, but you listen to this, good on you. You got this. Now, I guarantee you, you're gonna be more likely to go for a walk tomorrow. I guarantee you will. I know you will. And it can only be 5 minutes, right? Because that was number one. Short workouts. Short workouts are the way to get started. Short walk, short workouts. Just do it, baby. Not a big fan of Nike in my elder age, but I can tell you, best saying ever, slogan ever. Just do it, right? It makes sense. Number two is the consistency, right? Is that don't get stuck measuring the wrong things. If your behaviors that you're changing are equal to what you're experiencing as far as a change, then that's you got to be okay with that. What often happens is people will do things like walking. And again, and walking's so good to do. It's one of the best things you can do ever, for sure. But the expectation should not be to transform your body in 6 weeks from walking. You can lose a lot of weight for sure, and you should absolutely do it. You should absolutely do it. You should absolutely do it. Don't get my words wrong. But what I'm saying is, if you have the wrong expectation, it's only going to put you down and make you frustrated and keep you stuck in a cycle. And you don't need that anymore, right? You need lasting change. And so the consistency element is like, look, life is going to be hard. There are going to be shitty moments. There will be things that will happen that you didn't want to happen, that you didn't plan on happening, and that makes your life harder. You'll lose sleep, all of the rest. At some point, you might even have a little injury. I'm not wishing this upon you. I'm just saying life is life. So you have the choice, though, is when that stuff happens, you just throw your cards in, oh, when this is over, or do you just find a way to keep going forward, right? It's not easy. It's not easy, right? But you're worth it. You absolutely are worth it. And so give yourself that gift of just like, no matter what, I'm taking care of myself. And it's like things like we just did, a quick little walk outside, even just standing outside. Look, again, I like to try to say this every time I get the opportunity to talk long enough, but which I don't make that much opportunity myself either with my schedule. But the point is that I don't act like I'm on some soapbox and I'm talking down to you. These are all things that I constantly reflect on internally and work with so many other people on. And so they're just human things. And that's the most important thing to understand. So I say that and leave you with this. You got the three orders, quick workouts, do it regularly. Number three, carb rotate, do your best with it. Give yourself grace, give yourself credit for all that you've done up to this point. I will see you guys next time. How do I turn this thing off?